Good morning and welcome to the Crawford County Commissioners Work Session for January 3rd, 2024. We'll start with the Crawford County Correctional Facility.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Jack.
It's nice to be first on the list. Good way to start 2024. This morning I'm looking to ratify a payment of $2,628 for to container one. Payment is for a 40-foot shipping container and delivery. Container would be used for training and storage. Originally, I talked to you about a 20-foot container, but the 40-foot container was $300 more.
Do you want to explain a little what you're using it for?
Currently, we have nowhere to do our chemical munitions training. We were doing it in the training center, but it lingers too long, and it's there whenever we do training. We also tried to do it in the Sallyport for a while, but the local municipalities didn't like that when they rolled in there and got out, and that's all they smelled was pepper spray.
Well, as part of the union negotiation team, I agree that the smell of pepper spray in the negotiating room in the classroom is difficult.
Yeah, it's
yes. Okay, and B?
Secondly, approve a payment of $3,340 to replace 2 security cameras in the booking area. Cameras need to be replaced, are no longer clear, and they pixelate. Cameras need and replaced are used for the mental health cells.
Did you get any other price or just one price?
Just one price. Canadota pretty regularly beats everybody. Anytime I've ever had to get other bids, they were always lower.
And that's just for the 2 cameras, or is it for?
That's installation and everything. Yeah, they're not cheap anymore. They're about $1,500.
Call me, remind me where he came from. We first bought these cameras because that's a lot. Okay. Any questions for Jack?
No, sir. Thanks.
Okay. The Clerk of Courts. Good morning, Patty.
This is pretty simple. It's for approval to enter a contract with Higher Information Group to prep and scan all marriage applications. We have agreed right at this point not to exceed $13,000. However, this does not come out of a general fund or anything. This is coming out of an automation fund that's held by the Clerk of Court's office. I do have Keith just, it's pretty basic, I suppose, though, because it is a contract that you would want to see if it, that's it.
Any questions for Patty?
No.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Public Safety, Greg.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Greg.
Requesting to approve a payment of $4,994 to Aptum Environmental for the archaeological, investigation at the Sugar Lake Tower site. We're also looking to pay for our annual maintenance agreement with Mobilecom for the Zetron radio system at $20,900. I believe C should be ratified. I think it was already paid, but it's $1,953 to Trace Landscaping for installing additional conduit on the fencing project that allowed for the access control system.
Okay.
So, and then we have to pay $575.44 for our portion of the Northern Tier Very Auto maintenance agreement.
Any questions for Greg? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
IT. Morning, Tim.
IT is here to request the purchase of a 3-year full service and maintenance of the courthouse UPS from Nationwide Power for $2,364.96.
Okay.
This is due each year. Next is to request the purchase of the Adult Probation Department's 3-year Oracle license and support agreement from DLT Solutions for $9,274.32.
Okay.
This 3-year agreement will save us time, and save us money, because sometimes they've been going up every year. I'm going to scratch off the third one because I just finally heard back from Concept Plus, the people that manage David Weekley's time, and we have 11 hours left on his time that we're carrying over. And I told him that after this 11 hours is over, then I'll get another block of time.
Okay.
Fourth is a request to purchase 20 hours of Exchange, Skype, and certification support from Landis Technologies, LLC for $3,780.
Okay.
And lastly, to request the purchase of computer hardware support from Park Place Technologies, LLC for $11,751.48. This is the end-of-life hardware that like we bought from Dell, but Dell only supports it for so long, so then if we're still using it, Park Place takes over. We actually just had a hard drive fail in the public safety SAN, and they sent it to us and we got it fixed. So they're a good company.
Are all of these budgeted items?
All of them are budget items, yes.
Any other questions for Tim? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Planning.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning, Zach.
Okay.
Figured we'd go easy this morning as your first day in,
Nice.
so I only put 3 on there. So, the first 2 items this morning are requests for reimbursement associated with our workforce, construction workforce industry program. Both of them are paid out of the grant fund of the whole home repair program. The first is a reimbursement to Ari Johnson for $1,144 to 2 students that are currently with that company. And then the second reimbursement is with Ferguson Construction. It's $640 for 1 student. You'll see a bunch of these coming through because every 2 weeks or so, we will be reimbursing 3 to 5 companies for having students on their payroll.
Okay.
And these are the same individuals that were at the last meeting, is that correct? So it's gonna be
Yeah.
repetitious for
Yeah.
everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So 640 apiece for the 1144.
Yes, correct. 1144 for the total
Yes.
invoice, 640 per student,
1280.
1280. Correct, that number's wrong.
So the amount is 1280?
1280. Yes. We'll revise the purchase rec and get you a new one. Thank you for catching that. The last item is a ratification. Last year, we had to renew our Adobe Creative license. This was a budgeted item at $659.88, and I know that one's correct because I did it. So,
Any questions for Zach? Thank you, Zach.
thank you,
It's good to
gentlemen.
see that program underway.
County maintenance.
Morning.
Morning, Mark.
Asking approval to pay Brian Noah, project manager, $1,665 for professional services from December 1st to December 31st, 2023.
Okay.
Asking approval to pay an invoice to Stark, or from Stark Tech for a service agreement in the amount of $2,266. This is for the Judicial Center.
Any questions for Mark? Thank you, Mark. Human Services.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Sue.
I'm requesting to ratify the purchase requisition to the Center for Family Services for the ERAP 2 administration reimbursement through 10/25/23. The total cost was $2,819.91 with no cost to the county. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to the Center for Family Services for the ERAP 2 administration reimbursement through 10/27/23. The total cost was $37,756.68 with no cost to the county.
Sue, in those two, this is different than what the initial ERAP process is. This is a different process, right? Are we still reimbursing people or is it different?
It's the ERAP 2, yeah, they're still reimbursing people.
Okay, I didn't know if he had some. I know Stephanie had a talk with him about how they were going to use some of it for other means. I just want to make sure we're still reimbursing people's requests for assistance.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Redwood Toxicology Laboratory for drug testing supplies. The total cost is $1,703.75. The cost to the county is $367.96.
Okay.
Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JP contract with Child First Family Services for supervised visitation, consultation, report writing, court summaries, court testimony, team meetings, home inspections, mileage, co-parenting, anger management, and outpatient counseling. We have not contracted with this provider before, but we are in need of supervised visitation services for a sibling group placed in Lancaster, PA foster home. This is a much more cost-effective solution than paying our staff to travel for the visits. We are contracting for all of the services and rates that they can provide just in case they are needed at some point for this particular placement or another referral in their service area.
Okay.
Requesting approval of the amendment C1 to the fiscal year 23-24 MHID EI contract with Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program, CHAPS, for support in medical environment. There's an ID consumer who needs temporary support services while in a hospital nursing home setting. The rates for all ID community-based services are set by the state.
Any questions for Sue?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, the commissioners, I'll start with A and B, and I'll actually have Scott talk about B. So previous Board of Commissioners had an EMS commission that we had named some individuals to, and this Board of Commissioners will be no different. There are some pretty significant changes and stuff we're looking at in the future. We do have, we're putting this on the work session so we can get the word out that we are still taking requests to be appointed to both commissions. We'd like to generally be around 9 to 11 people. It doesn't really matter. But there are some people who have asked for reappointment from the prior commission, and I'll just touch on the EMS commission side, and then I'll let Scott talk about the fire side. The EMS commission is working diligently on the lift assist crisis and home health issues. Just as an example, the number of lift assists in Crawford County has quadrupled in the last 5 years. We're going to handle over 1,000 lift assists in 2023, as opposed to 200 to 300 5 years ago. So it's been a big problem. That usually is driven by the fact there's no nursing home beds available, so people are being sent home. Sadly, so the ambulance services and EMS providers and fire departments are being affected by that. So we're working on that diligently. I think it's one of our biggest issues to date. So if you're interested in the EMS commission, please let one of the three of us know. You can send an email to the chief clerk as well if you'd like to know that. And we will maybe in the next work session and go ahead and appoint names to that. We'll probably remove it from the next meeting until then. And then we'll start meeting every other month. EMS and Fire Commission will meet every other month like it has been. Scott will oversee the Fire Commission. I will oversee the EMS Commission. It's a public meeting. People are welcome to come. And Scott, if you want to talk about the Fire Commission a little bit, some of the directive, and if you'd hit your mic on so people can hear through the YouTube, you're okay.
Okay. The as Eric said, the Fire Commission and EMS Commission have been working now for over a year, and most people have not seen a lot of results, but there's been a lot of thought going into this process. The main thing with the fire end of things is there's just a lack of volunteers, and in Pennsylvania alone, in the past 25 years, Pennsylvania went from 300,000 volunteer firefighters to today of less than 30,000. There's just not enough people to go around. Emergencies in our county alone, we have delayed responses because of you might have to dispatch the 911 center, may have to dispatch 2 or 3 fire departments just to get a crew out to help whatever's going on. So we're diligently working on that to see what we can do to pick up the pieces to ensure that the general public gets help when they need it. If you need the fire department, you don't need them tomorrow, you need them now. So we're taking those steps right there. As Eric has said, you can submit if you're interested in being on that board, you can submit that to the commissioner's office or to Gina. Actually, you can make contact with Alan Clark up at the 911 center, and he will relay that information over to us too. We're moving forward, trying to find a better way to serve the public in emergency situations. So that's where we're at with that, and we're going to get her rolling again here very soon.
Thank you, Scott. And 8C is a SAFER grant application. The last Board of Commissioners and the ARPA committee had set aside $25,000 for the recruitment and attention of volunteer fire department service members throughout the county. This agreement is with an organization, an individual in the middle of the state who specializes in SAFER grant applications, and the actual application itself will cover the cost of training, education, personal protective equipment, life insurance for retention of older members, and also actual educational credits for younger members, and in regards to high school students who want to go further into college, even if it's not fire related. So there's a good opportunity for us to help with some recruitment and retention of volunteers in general. Scott and I will be making our way around to some of the fire service to talk about what this means, but it's a good opportunity. In Lancaster County and other counties, they joined together, and this actually ended up in millions of dollars with no match. So we're pretty excited about the SAFER grant application and the agreement. So that is what 8C is. And then 8D, Gina, if you want to go from there. Thank you.
Requesting renewal of the contract with Keith Button as county solicitor. I believe you have reviewed that prior to staying with the same structure that we have over the last how many years, Keith? Ooh, okay. So we're requesting renewal of that contract.
We'll figure it out. Pending your response to that.
Okay, next I'm requesting approval of the resolution for the sale of county vehicles at auction. Again, the same resolution that we've always had, just with the new board signatures. Each new board needs to renew that approval. Okay, and then I have finally some notifications. The first one's an Act 14 notification from Laurel Highland Structural Consulting. It's a GP11 permit for the Sportsman Road Railroad Bridge redecking project, and there's actually a couple typos here. It's over the East Branch Oil Creek in Sparta Township. The next one's an Act 14 notification from Wilson Engineering Services to install a small flow treatment system on Rind Road in Wayne Township. And finally, an Act 14 notification from Dyson Helmy for an NPDES permit for small flow facility treatment in South Shenango Township.
Any questions for Gina? The upcoming events, January 10th will be a full session. Will be closed on January 15th for Martin Luther King Day, followed by a 17th work session on the 24th. Any public comment at all? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Seeley.
Red light is on.
It's off. You can turn it on when you, there you go. There you
There
go.
we are. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just, again, a pleasure to be here to serve with you two gentlemen. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. I thank the kindness of the department heads for their patience as we continue to orient ourselves. I'll speak for Commissioner Schell on that one as well. I know that he would echo those sentiments. And as your continued patience with Chairman Henry as he continues to find his way as well. Thank you all for being here. We look forward to a productive term with your assistance and your indulgence.
Mr. Shell.
I'll echo that. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for being patient with us as we learned some new procedures that were not common for Mr. Seeley and I. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to do our best to cooperate with everybody, and we're going to keep making this a team. So thank you very much.
And the other thing that I want to talk about just a little bit when it comes to the Fire and EMS Commission is those meetings will probably be in the evening, so it'll be a little more accessible to people who are working day jobs. And again, it'll be an every other month commitment. So if you have time to serve, we need you to show up and attend. Of course, that's important. So please let us know, just as a reminder, that we are going to have those at night. So with that being said, if nothing else, we will see you next week. Thank you.